My name is Ian and welcome to Planted. In this video, I've got a mix of subjects. I've got some summer pruning tips, I've got some new plant purchases to share with you, and I've also got some wonderful seedlings. If you like my videos, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you think. This is one of my wonderful plants. I was finally able to get seeds of this plant a few weeks ago. It's called Christia. It's the red butterfly plant. And I put them in my greenhouse, gave them some water and left them at 80 degrees. And what do you know? The eruption of horticulture took over and these plants are growing nicely. I will be sure to keep you posted. I'm a big fan of summer pruning. It lets me let light into the garden, which prompts good strong growth, lets the wind blow through the branches. It also initiates new flower buds, and it means that I've also got space to walk through my garden because I'm not being taken over. Now, I know that some people are very scared to prune, and I'm not for one moment saying you should go out there in June and hard prune everything. That's not the point. But here's a really good example. This is a plant called Portulaca, widely available, incredibly floriferous. It will just keep on putting out loads and loads of buds. But I found this plant, and many others, will respond to this type of haircut. All I do is isolate one plant, bunch it together, and then cut off 20 to 30% of that growth. And maybe a little bit more. And what I'm doing is I reduce the foliage, which reduces the transpiration rate. I remove lots of lots of seed pods that might try and set seed, which will stop the plant from putting out fresh flower buds. And by doing this, I initiate a lot of new fresh growth. Many benefits are that it gets your head down there into your plants. You might do a little bit of weeding while you're at it. I've seen people take a strimmer or a weed whacker and try and prune like this. Don't ever try that. This is by far the most successful way. Isolate a single plant, put it into a bunch, and then cut it. Now, another example of summer pruning is this Anisodontia. I featured this a few weeks ago. It had a bit of a haircut. It's now putting out lots and lots of buds and flowers. And that is the prune mark right there. You can see where I cut back. It makes the plants nice and bushy. Now this is my Edgeworthia Snow Cream, a wonderful spring flowering plant that will start to set buds in the next few weeks. So typically if you were to prune this in springtime, you would cut off all the buds. So last year I decided that I wanted to get this in the ground where I know it would do a lot better. Dug out a hole, made sure that it was the right size, put my plant in, and now that my beautiful Edgeworthia is ready to go crazy with flowers and foliage. It's borderline in my area, so I built a little recycled greenhouse, of which I made a video, to help it come through the winter, and it worked beautifully. Fast forward to today, this is my plant looking beautiful and luxuriant, but it's got a lot bigger. I want to reduce it in size so that I can put another frame around it, but I also want it to flower. My goal is to give it quite a heavy prune now in midsummer so that it can put out new shoots, and in doing so, those new shoots will then also have flower buds. So this would seem to be quite drastic, but you need to understand what we're doing here. If I prune it later in the season, which is more traditional, I will cut off all the flower buds that go through winter. By pruning it now in midsummer, I've got enough heat and day length left in the year so that it can put out new shoots, which then will have new buds. At least that's the plan. And I really want to make this point that gardening, you've got seasons and cycles and optimum times for doing things, but you really are much better off just keep on steadily plugging away, doing a few jobs one week, a few jobs another week, and not try and pigeonhole every project into one particular time frame. You saw me there removing a crossing branch. I'm always on the lookout for plants, and I'm not afraid of buying mail order, which is exactly what I've done here. These came through delivery just like this. They've just been unboxed, beautifully packed. This is a mail order purchase from Annie's Annuals. And when I find the plants I want, I put together a list and I go and buy them. So first up, we've got the beautiful Scabious. This is 3-inch wide flowers, just beautiful. This is the giant white sunflower tree, Rojacianthe. And I've also got the Alyogyne, beautiful blue hibiscus flowers. And then this is something a little different. This is Cotula. This is another beautiful ground cover, feathery, barefoot, just perfect. Now, these plants have just come from California. I'm in Connecticut. They've come across the country, and they're probably a little shook up. So it's really important that you unpack them carefully and immediately pot them on. Now, this is what I do, and it works for me. But the day I get them, I put them into a slightly larger pot, not hugely bigger, but another size up, with a little bit of fertilizer, and make sure that I well water them. And then they're in a little table in some shade, and they'll stay here for a couple of days and just get acclimated to their new environment. Now, this plant, being a ground cover, lends itself for some pretty heavy manipulation. I was delighted to get this very full pot, and by turning the roots essentially inside out, ripping from the base, not from the top, I was planning to get 3 or 4 divisions, but I actually ended up with 6. And ground cover plants are a wonderful way for new gardeners to literally get their hands dirty and have some immediate success. I turned 1 plant into 6. They all got potted up into their own little containers, and they are now growing beautifully. Here are those plants 7 days on. They've had a chance to calm down, take in a bit of water and some food, and I'm pleased to say that all of them are doing beautifully. The Alyogyne has even set buds. So please like, please subscribe. I really would like to hear your comments. Do you want more planty videos? Do you want more how-tos? Or do you just want to look at beautiful plants? Bye for now.